If you're a home service business owner, you've probably heard that Facebook ads don't work for contractors, that you should just stick with Google or Yelp. Well, the people that are telling you this are wrong. Facebook ads work incredibly well for home service businesses, but only if you set them up the right way. My name is Zhuk. I help home service contractors build lead generating systems using meta ads. We've helped electricians, HVAC companies, bathroom remodels get consistent lead flow. And today I'm going to walk through the exact Facebook ad setup we use step by step, so by the end of it, you know how to set up ads that actually generate leads for your business. Most of our clients, they see their first leads within 7 to 10 days of setting this up correctly. What we recommend is putting business owners themselves on camera. What it does is it creates an emotional connection with the prospective prospect. They can see the person that they're potentially going to work with. Ideally, if it's not the business owner, it's the head of sales, it's a sales rep, it's an estimator. The purpose of this is that it's not just a generic person, but it's actually going to help your conversion rates by the same person that actually goes into the house or does the estimate or does the bid is the same person that the person sees in the ad. We are trying to make as much of a shortcut to trust as possible. And homeowners, they want to know who's actually going to come into their home. What would happen oftentimes is we'd run an ad with somebody, that person would then respond to the homeowner and then say, oh, you're the guy from the video. That's exactly the response we want. That's ideal. Now, I know not everybody can be on camera. Not everybody's comfortable on camera. This is just what converts the best. If it's not possible, we typically can find a solution. A common problem people make when creating their ads is they make it all about themselves. Hey, this is Bob, and I as Bob, I do such an amazing job doing full home remodels. Look at how great I did this job. Look at how great I am. The thing is, people care not about your success, your ability. And while that does help them in working with you, they first and foremost care about their own problems. So the best thing to do is start with a problem, start with a pain point, start with some sort of issue. That's how you want to script your ad. But before you get into the full script, it's extremely important to do a market call out that hits the specific audience before going into the meat of your ad. The reason for this is what it'll do is it'll filter anybody who it's irrelevant for. So if I say, hey, Seattle homeowners, if I'm not a homeowner in Seattle, ad should not resonate with me, and therefore the ad will then find a different pocket of prospective people that would actually resonate with Seattle homeowners, Tacoma homeowners, Linwood homeowners, whatever it is. You make the market call out the first thing you say, and then you go into the pain. Then you say, we have like an electrician. He says, hey, your lights are flickering. It's a really stormy season. You're not sure if your power is going to stay on, your microwave is going to run. That is a perfect example where it's like market call out, customer pain, and then you're solved. That's how I would do it. That's how I would script it. And that's how we do it for our clients. All right. So what you would do here is you would go into your ad account, into your ads manager, and hit create on a new campaign. Make the objective leads. I like to name it based on whatever, campaign we're running. You can start complicated, but I will just give like a simple overview for now. Campaign budget, ad set budget. If you're running one ad, it doesn't matter. If you start running multiple ads, you can push spend to those specific ads. If you want just Meta to handle the entire campaign, you could just run a campaign budget. Daily budget for home services completely depends on the market that you're in and your offer and your price point. Realistically, on like, let's say you're a home remodeler in the Seattle area, it's going to be like close to about $100 per lead. We have some people at like $15 in some demos in some markets. We have some people at $50. Past $100, you're starting to get a bit expensive in our area. And then other markets are generally cheaper than the Seattle area in which I'm in. People can start on $20 to $30 a day, and typically they'll get their first lead on $20 to $30 a day. We recommend $30 to $50 to start, just learn a little bit faster, especially if you're doing one ad. You can create your new lead campaign. Then you'd have your ad set. This is where you'd have your actual conversion location. A lot of small businesses, they don't have the capacity to set up their own websites and landing pages. So Instant Forms is going to be your go-to thing. This is Instant Forms. We want to maximize the number of leads that we're getting. You could also maximize the number of conversion leads. That'll just slow things down. Those are people more likely to convert. But when you're starting off, it's important that you just get traction, get the ball rolling, get somebody in the door, because when you start from zero, it's very, very hard. Budget, I typically like to run a campaign for about 14 days just to make sure it's running well. And I don't want to run it for eternity if it's not doing well. Now, this next portion is going to be extremely important. And if you've ever experienced it where you are getting ads from people who run local businesses, but they're in completely different states, this is why that's happening. Meta turns this thing on called Advantage Plus Audiences. This means you want to reach anybody who would engage with this ad. And it's fantastic if you're running like an e-commerce business. But let's say I am in the Seattle area. What I would like to do is typically high income zip codes, or you could just do radius targeting. But let's just go Seattle, the city, and then you could pick, how far out do we want to drive? If you do this pin, it'll also reach people out there. Something Meta has been doing recently, it's people living in or recently in this location. This is challenging. We're not going to reach people more likely to respond, and then it's going to be, oh, your campaign is bad. No, it might be bad for like an e-commerce store, but we're not running ads for e-commerce businesses. Also want to further limit the reach of our ads. This sounds so scary, but it's actually not. Ages, we like to go 35 plus here because in our area, in our market, that's the people who are most likely homeowners. Median age of a first-time homebuyer right now is I think 39 or 40. We want people who are homeowners, not children. Area, we could do radius. Zip codes is also something we like to do. We also like to run an exclusion audience. This is including, but we also just want to make sure, because sometimes Meta will automatically turn on targeting in other states, like without any warning, or you pause a campaign, turn it back on, it'll just put default settings on. So what we like to do is we also like to make sure we have exclusions on where you will have every other state will not be included. So let's just say states, and then, Oregon, Idaho. I'm just going to do this as an example. So what's going to happen is nobody in Oregon and Idaho now should be getting this ad, even if they've recently been in this location. A problem is, like, you get the holidays, people travel in, someone flies in from Oregon, then they come back and then they fill out your lead form, even though you can't serve them if they're in Boise when you're in Seattle. In terms of other targeting, in terms of like preferences, interests, that used to matter a lot on Meta is semi-meaningless now, and we were going to let our ad script do a lot of the targeting. Placements matter quite a bit. We want to turn off the audience network. This is like going on other websites where Meta would position ads. Want to exclude these. There's a couple other things we'd want to exclude here. Facebook typically converts a little bit better for some services than Instagram. Instagram will work a little bit better for purely visual. Depends on the strategy. Now, this is where the fun stuff happens. So ideally you have a video. You'd upload that video in terms of the creative. Multi-advertiser ads. This is if, I don't know if you ever experienced this on like stories, for example, you'll get 4 ads in a row. This will include you in one of those 4 ads. The benefit is you'll reach more people. The downside is now you get side by side with someone who's like tap, 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 trying to get through it. Setting up the creative. So we can upload a video here. Let's do this one. So this is a video we made. You can crop it. It'll adjust based on platform that you're on or viewpoint. Sometimes if Tacoma business owners, if you're still, see that looks weird. My head gets cropped. So what we could do is Tacoma business owners, if you're still waiting on referrals, or we can force the original, which is just this, and it'll have black lines on the side. It's actually better. Text, use ChatGPT for a lot of this stuff. What's the primary text? What's the headline? A lot of this stuff really matters. How people hook, the words that they see. This stuff really matters in terms of your conversion rates. And sometimes you can run 2 of the exact same ad, change the wording a little bit, and it spikes through. Enhancements, this stuff's fun. Meta loves doing a bunch of random AI stuff right now. Edit your video, edit your text, so you get a lot of really weird ads. It's good just to turn off all of this. Otherwise, you can get some strange results. There you go, your headline, your description, then your call to action. If you're running more offer-based, you can do get offer, get a quote, learn more. All these work for home service businesses in particular. Yeah, that's basically the initial setup. Then this is one of the most important parts of the whole experience is like the actual form questions you ask and the amount of questions you ask and the frequency, volume. Let's just go Kula instant form. And let's say, hypothetically we're running an HVAC business. There's like this intro option where right now Meta's like allowing you to use a lot of intro stuff, trust signals, woman owned or whatever. Like you can add in a ton of this different stuff. I've noticed it just reduces conversion rate. And the best thing is just to go straight into a multiple choice question. Now, in terms of multiple choice questions, you can go conditional logic. Hypothetically, it'd be something like some sort of A/B question. Are you a homeowner in the Seattle area? Yes, no. Conditional logic, close the form for the no's because then it's just going to kick people out. We don't want to work with people who don't match this demo. Then it will go to the next question. I need to create another question. We'd say, what type of HVAC service are you looking for? It's always best, especially with low budgets, is to start multiple choice, start minimal questions, because again, you need volume, you need some sort of traction. If you add too much friction from the jump, you're not going to get any leads in on spending something like 30, 50 bucks a day. If you spend high volume from the jump, yes, you can get leads and you could add friction, but I don't recommend that from the beginning. From the beginning, let's just make it as easy as possible. Let's not make our consumers think. Let's just kind of get them through the process. What HVAC service are you looking for? So you can add these different questions, write it up here, please answer the question. This is the beauty of Facebook Instant Forms, is because it's going to autofill this info and it'll allow you to get leads as cheaply as possible. Now, there are some downsides to autofill where it's like they are less serious because it's pre-filled. You can again add more friction. If somebody puts an open text box and says like, what's the meaning of life? Now you have to answer that question to finish the form. You can understand a lot of people are going to get stuck right here because it's, whoa, what is the meaning of life? Like I need to really think about this. What I notice is a lot of people like to start like, what service are you looking for? And yeah, they can write it in and that'll improve your lead quality. You won't get nearly as much volume from the beginning. Privacy policy, you can add one here. Meta's getting your info and then giving you permission to talk to these people. Get the contact info. You could add stuff like city or zip code. We like to do zip code just to make it easy. And then end pages. This is where you can get really creative, and we run some pretty creative options here on end pages where we might have 20 different end pages. If somebody is like wanting a price quote, we can build out a whole calculator and get price quotes and like instant bids. That's a fantastic method for pre-framing potential customers to understand, oh, how much does an HVAC system actually cost? How much does a bathroom remodel actually cost? How much does this service actually cost? Oh, okay, I know. And bad fits are going to get filtered out. Good fits will be more engaged. So when you actually reach out to them, then your conversion rate is higher. That's a cool option that we like to do here. Now from here, Facebook does not do a great job of notifying you once a lead actually fills out your form. What we like to do is we like to set up a couple connections to a Slack account, to go high level, to email, just to make sure that you know that the leads are actually coming in and you have access to contact them immediately. Now, another service we offer is we can contact these leads for you and set the appointments for you. That makes the job a lot easier because getting the leads, honestly, up to this point, it's not that hard. The more challenging portion is once the leads come in, now to book them and turn them into actual estimates scheduled in. That's a little bit more of the challenging part. And that's where we see a lot of people fall off because like leads come in, you try them one time, they didn't work out. Again, this person's never heard of you in their entire life. And then you're expecting them to stop what they're doing and care. There's a very, very small subset of people at any given moment that immediately need your service. A lot of people are expecting is that to be the same exact result. No, the actual money's in the follow-up, check-in, follow-up again until these people either say, yes, I need your service or no, I don't. One of the two. If it's open, if it's a question, it's probably not a good fit. You could directly chat with the people on your platform and then go from there. That's essentially how you'd set it up. You'd hit publish. You might run into some snags. Your billing might hit some issues, but that's all kind of part of the process, especially if it's a brand new ad account. As you can see, running Facebook ads isn't that complicated. You can set up your first campaign using what I showed you. Start with a small budget, test a few hooks, and follow up the leads that you get. But if you want us to handle the whole system for you so you don't have to go through all this, you don't need a videographer, you don't need a script writer, you don't need to figure all this out. We can take care of it for you. Hit the link down below, shoot me a message. We'll be happy to help you. See you in the next video.